Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kristin and I love to craft. Today we have a very exciting video. We are going to be doing a card collab with Katie over at Hook, Line, and Inker. If you have not already checked out her videos, she has some great card making videos. So we are going to be opening up this card and we are going to be taking an element from her card and implementing it into our card that we are making today. So I will leave a link to her channel down in the description box below, but let's go ahead and get started on today's video. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this up. I am so excited to see this card. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh my goodness, this is so pretty. Look at all those details. I love this little die set that she used. Okay, so she left me a little message in here. I am going to keep that for myself, but let's go ahead and get out some supplies for this card today. Okay, so I have some supplies. I'm going to leave her very pretty card right here in the corner. That way that we can just sort of reference it while we are making our card today. But we are going to be doing a top folding A2 size card. So it is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I also have a top panel that we will be creating on today. So let's go ahead and use our score tool and we are going to score our card. So like I said, it is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So we have our score tool here and we can go ahead and score that at 5 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side and we will be working on our front card panel here. We are going to be using this really cute stamp and die set, and I want to take this little bunny right here with the flowers because I think it matches these flowers as well. So that is what we will be implementing in our card today. So let's go ahead and stamp this out. So we have our Misty, which is a stamping folder. We have our Memento in Tuxedo Black. We also have this stamping tool, and this is used to apply even pressure whenever we are stamping. And I'm going to go ahead and cut up this piece of paper. That way that we have something to stamp on. And this paper right here will go in our scrap bin. That way that we can use more scraps from it in the future. Okay, so let's go ahead and open up our stamping folder, put it right there in the corner, and this magnet right here holds our cardstock in place. That way it doesn't really move around. Okay, so now let's take our stamp, and we are going to be using this bunny right here, and we will place him right there. And then, let's see, I think that the sentiment that we should use is, "Oh, happy day." I think that is just so precious. So we can put that right there as well. So let's go ahead and close up our folder. And since it's kind of new, you can just run your finger over the top of it. That way that any oils from the factory are gone. And then we will take our Memento in Tuxedo Black, and we are going to stamp it. And you can go over it a few times if you would like. And then we are going to close the folder, take our little pressure tool, and then we can open it back up. And if we see any spots that need restamping, then we can go ahead and do it now. And so I see a little spot at the top of the ears, but we will go ahead and just restamp it all. And then we'll use that pressure tool again. Here's what it looks like up close. Look how pretty that is. Okay, so let's go ahead and clean this up and then we will start coloring. Okay, so I picked out some markers, and these are not the Ohuhu brand that I usually use. These are from Amazon, and these are an alcohol marker. And they actually worked pretty good. I got the pastel set. Everything that I will be using today will be linked down in the description box below. So let's go ahead and start coloring this cute little bunny. This is the shade RG110, and it looks like it is the red gray color. I noticed whenever I was swatching out some of the colors, the description on them didn't really match the shade that they actually are. Okay, so what I'm doing now is just going around the head of the bunny and maybe towards the back side, a little bit on the feet. That way that it's a little bit darker around those places. And then I'm going to take the shade RV160 and we are going to color in the flowers. This is such a pretty pink pastel color. And then for the leaves, I think that we are going to do RG220. I also have another one picked out, but I think that this is going to be the shade that I'm really going to like. Oh yeah, that's really pretty. It's just a little hint of green. Okay, so now that we are done coloring, I'm going to go ahead and get out the Sizzix Big Shot and we will run it through there. Okay, so we have out our Sizzix Big Shot. I'm going to go ahead and separate all of the dyes and I will be right back. I found the coordinating dye. Now I'm going to take some washi tape and I just want to put a little bit over the top to secure it down. So I'm going to place it, I think right there looks great. And then we also need to cut off this part right here because this set did not come with a coordinating die for the sentiment, so we'll just have to cut that out with a pair of scissors. Okay, so if you get a Sizzix Big Shot, it comes with all of the cutting plates, and on the cutting plates, it comes with the instructions on here. My plates are very used, as you can tell, but this has been the best investment that I have made for my craft room because I use this machine pretty much on every card, especially with die cutting. That is just a really great way to elevate your card. So let me go ahead and run this through and I'll be right back. Okay, so I ran it through and now we get to just pop it out of the back. And let's be very careful so that washi tape does not rip our paper. And that looks great. So let me go ahead and move this out of the way. And then we will go ahead and trim up our sentiment. That way that we will have it ready. So let's cut off about that much. And then we will trim up the top. I feel like it's kind of off a little bit. Maybe it's off on the bottom. So let's try to trim up the bottom. Okay, maybe a little bit more. All right, that looks great. Okay, now for our front card panel, I feel like it needs a little bit of something. So we are going to take the Concord and Ninth ink cubes in Grasshopper and Eucalyptus, and we are going to do some ink blending. I have my bucket here of washi tape, and I think we want to go with this one. This one has a little bit of a width to it. This is about 1/2 inch wide. So let's take a strip of it and we want to line it up on the edge. So I'm going to line the bottom of the washi tape up with the bottom of the card. So I'm going to take it like that and let's kind of straighten it up on our mat here so we can kind of get a better angle. Okay, so we want it like that. We're going to rip it off and then again lining the edge up with the bottom edge of the washi tape. And if you hear a little bit of noise in the background, that is my washing machine. My craft room is right next to the laundry room, and so I started a load and completely forgot that I was about to film and I didn't want to stop the load, so it is making a good bit of noise in there. All right, that looks great. So now what I want to do is, let's see, I think we should do grasshopper on the bottom and eucalyptus on the top. So I'm going to take my ink blending brush, I'm going to dab on here a few times, and then I'm going to dab it off on the mat. And this just ensures that we are not taking too much to our paper. And we are going to start off from the top and we are going to work our way into the card. So we're going to brush it onto the washi tape and brush it onto the card panel. I always like to start off from the sides and work my way towards the middle. That way, in case it's a little bit darker, it's easier to blend out on the edges than it is to the middle. All right, I think that looks great. So now let's go in with the grasshopper. And I'm going to use the same brush, but I'm going to just rub it off onto a paper towel. All right, so now I'm going to dab in here, dab it off, and it looks like this one is very pigmented. So we definitely want to start off with a light coat. And we'll go in this way. And now that I'm looking at it, this is actually a lot lighter and it kind of looks like maybe even like a sun kind of color. We might have to flip our card that way that this is more of the grass and this is more of like the sky being like really bright. Okay, I think that looks great. So now I'm going to put the lids back on, clean up this mess, and then we will take off the washi tape. Okay, so now that the mess is cleaned up, let's go ahead and take off the washi tape. I think that whenever the washi tape comes up, it's such a rewarding look because you get to see what you have just created. And this is my favorite part right here. I always rip the bottoms, so I'm going to be extra careful this time. All right, so like I said, I think we should definitely flip it so that the green is on the bottom and that lighter green color is on the top. And let's just take a look to see how it'll actually look. Oh yeah, that is so cute. Okay, so I have a big box of the foam dots and it comes in all different sizes. I got these from Hobby Lobby and this is a great set. This was $4.49. I believe it was 40% off, but it comes with, I'm not sure how many pieces it comes with, but there is definitely a lot of sheets in here and tons of the foam dots. So what I'm going to do is put some on the back of the bunny, and let's do maybe one for his ear, the head, towards the bottom, some for those flowers, and right there. And then I'm going to take my pokey tool here, and it's easier to grab off those backings like that. I'm going to take my reverse tweezers, and these are great because all that you have to do is squeeze it, put your paper in there, and then you can let go and it just holds it. So these are perfect if you don't want to just hold it the whole entire time. All right, we're going to place that right there, and then we want our sentiment kind of offset to the left. So that looks great right there. And I do want to add some dimension to this, so let's do, I think we should do a strip about that long, and then we will cut it in half down the middle. And then we will put it on the back, and we can peel up that backing. And I want to put it about right there. All right, that looks great. Let's go ahead and find some gems to add to this card. Okay, so we are going to go with our usual dewdrops. And I'm going to pour poured out way too much, but let's go ahead and pick some out. So we're going to be using this pen here. It is great if you just need like a little dab of glue. So let's do, I'm thinking just a couple up here. Okay, so I picked this one out right here. And this is a wax tool tip, and it's great for picking up little gems. So let's do this tiny one here. Put it right there. And then another one right there. And then I think that we should add maybe like 2 right here. So we can do, there's a little bubble in there. All right, so let's do maybe more of a medium-sized one right there. Okay, let's pick up this medium-sized one. That looks great. All right, so let's go ahead and let this dry. I'm going to clean up this mess and I'll be right back. Okay, now that it's done drying, I want to add the front panel to our card. So I'm just going to flip it over, and we will be taking some of this double-sided foam tape, and we are going to make a few strips. So we'll put one on the edge, one on the other edge, and then we will do one for the middle. Just like that, and then we will peel off the backings, again using that pokey tool. Now that we have taken off all those backings, now let's go ahead and put it on the card. So let's do it about right there. Press it down gently. All right, and this is how our card turned out. I'm so excited that I got to collab with Katie over at Hook, Line, and Anchor. She has some great card tutorials, so I will go ahead and link her channel down in the description box below in case you want to go over there and check out some of her videos. But this card was so much fun to make. I love the little dewdrops, and I definitely loved implementing the flowers. I don't think that I've made many spring cards this year, and so this was such a fun card to make. I hope that you all enjoyed it just as much as I did, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!